Good morning to all. So today we'll start a new topic, that is hypothesis testing. Under inferential statistics, there are two main topics. One was estimation, which we have already covered in chapter number 7, in which we have studied how to estimate population mean from the given sample mean and sample standard deviation. Now in this part, that is hypothesis testing, we'll cover chapter number 8 for t-test and z-test, chapter number 9 for chi-square test for goodness of fit and chi-square test for independence of attributes, and chapter number 12 for analysis of variance or f-test. Okay. Now under hypothesis testing, first we need to understand the term null hypothesis or alternate hypothesis. So we can understand it by this: if we have to compare the means of two samples, we go for t-test. If we have to compare the means of more than two samples, we go for analysis of variance. And chi-square test we use for discrete data or counting or frequency data, which is somewhat different. So we'll study in the next class about chi-square. Now here we were trying to understand what do you mean by null hypothesis and what do you mean by alternate hypothesis. Okay. Whenever we are comparing two means, suppose we are comparing the means of marks of batch A and batch B, or a performance of any treatment A and B, whatever we are comparing, first in statistics we assume that there is no difference between the two means, and then we try to prove if there is any difference, then the answer will come yes, there is a difference, and if there is no difference, statistically answer will come no. So the first step is setting up the hypothesis, basically null hypothesis, assuming there is no difference between the means. And second part is alternate hypothesis. Alternate hypothesis means there is a difference, statistically significant difference between the means. This can be one hypothesis which is double tail, and if the alternate hypothesis is single tail, that means either we are considering lower side or we are considering higher side, then we go for single tail, which we'll be understanding when we'll practice the questions related to this. Now let us first study the procedure of hypothesis testing. So first part is we have to set up the hypothesis. We have to write a line for null hypothesis. We have second part is selecting a significance level. That means you have to decide at which confidence level you are going to do the full test, and that is at 95% or 99%. Generally we take these two values, and in the book we are referring by Leaf, they have taken 95%, so we'll go with 95%. Next is calculation of test statistic. So we'll use some sort of formula which will be different in case of t-test, in case of chi-square, and in case of ANOVA. But in all the three cases of hypothesis testing, we will be calculating some value and we'll be comparing that value with the table value. Now table value will also be different. In case of chi-square, we'll use chi-square table, and in case of t-test we'll use t-test table, and in case of ANOVA we'll use f-test table. Tables will be different, but the basic concept is same, that we are going to compare one calculated value with the table value at 95% confidence level. Now if the calculated value comes higher as compared to the table value, then we reject the null hypothesis, and answer is yes. That means by reject the null hypothesis means null hypothesis say there is no difference, and if we reject the null hypothesis means there is a difference. Yes, there exists statistically significant difference. We'll practice some questions, and you will be able to understand it in a better way. this is some, if you want to understand these two terms, null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis, if we are to compare method A with method B about its superiority, and if we proceed on the assumption that both methods are equally good, then this is termed as null hypothesis. And if we have to, and the alternate hypothesis is there exists some difference. But if we take only one side, that method A is superior or method A is inferior, then we call it single tail. So we'll be able to understand with questions. Now there are two more terms which are related to hypothesis testing, is type 1 and type 2 errors. We need to understand it in theory basically. Now what are the possibilities? If we have taken a null hypothesis that there is no difference, now the possibility is, number one, null hypothesis is true and we accept null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is true and we reject null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is false and we accept null hypothesis. Null hypothesis is false and we reject null hypothesis. That means there are basically four possibilities, in which two possibilities are correct and two possibilities that will give you two errors, type 1 error and type 2 error. Type 1 error is also called alpha error, which we can control at the start of the test. Generally we work at alpha equal to 5% or 1%, or otherwise we can say, if we are working at 5% alpha, that means at 95% confidence level we are working. So this error we can decide at the time of starting the test. But beta error is difficult to control, and if alpha error is reduced, beta error increases. So that is some part which is complex, so we are leaving it at that point. We can control alpha error. Now what is alpha error? Is rejection of hypothesis which should have been accepted. That is called type 1 error or alpha error, and we generally fix it at 5%. Now we'll see those formulas which we are going to use to practice the problems. Okay. Now these are the significance tests for means. We'll use the term z-test and t-test. Z-test we go for large sample where n is greater than or equal to 30, and t-test we go for small sample where n is less than 30. Now in chapter 8 what we are doing, we are comparing the means of two means, comparing the two means. That is important. If more than two means are given, then we go for analysis of variance technique, which we'll study in chapter 12. Okay, now the questions here will be of three types. In first is single mean. That means you are given the mean of sample and you have to compare it with the mean of population. So we'll use these formulas for that, for large sample and for small sample. Second category is independent sample, and third category is matched or paired sample. We need to understand it clearly. If we are given the marks of batch A and batch B students, then these samples are independent, because roll number 1 of batch A hasn't anything to do with the roll number 1 of batch B. These are independent. But what is the example of matched or paired samples? Suppose I take the marks of batch A in first year and I take the marks of same batch in third year after 2-year marks. So now roll number 1 marks in first year we need to compare with roll number 1 marks in third year. That means the person is same. So that type of questions will come under the category of paired or matched samples. Suppose second example is, if we are given one fabric and we give two finishing treatments to the same fabric is same and we are giving two finishing treatments. So that these type of questions will come under matched or paired samples. These are the formulas for calculating the test statistic. Then we need to see the table. and we'll compare the calculated value with the table value. If calculated value is higher than the table value at 95% level, then we'll say yes, the null hypothesis is rejected and there exists a statistically significant difference between the means. It is a very simple procedure. When we'll practice the questions, it will be easy to understand. Okay, now let us take one example of the exercise given in chapter 8. And first question we'll see, and then we'll continue in the next class. In the first question, it is specified that the impurity of a chemical must not exceed 1.35%. On a certain batch of the chemical, 5 determinations of percentage impurity were made and 5 readings are given. So here the population mean is given 1.35% and we are given the 5 readings of sample mean. So we'll take first is assuming null hypothesis that there is no difference in the mean values. The mean I have calculated is 1.48 of the sample and 1.35 is population mean. So this is null hypothesis. Now we need to check if there is a statistically significant difference between these two means, 1.48 and 1.35. For that, first we'll calculate the standard deviation, which we already know. I have shown the calculations, which is 0.1483. Then now this question comes under small sample because number of readings are less than 30. So we'll see the T distribution table. Number 2, this question comes under single tail because they are asking impurity must not exceed 1.35%. That means impurity in the we are considering only one side of the distribution. Impurity must not exceed, that means more impurity. The batch should not contain more impurity. It can contain less impurity, but it should not contain more impurity. So we are going towards only one side of the distribution. So this test comes under single tail. Now we'll calculate the test statistic as shown here. X bar minus mu divided by S upon root n. And we just get the value 1.96. Now when we have to see the table value, we'll see the T table, and for K is equal to n minus 1, K is degree of freedom, which is equal to n minus 1. In this case, n was 5, so K will be 4, and for alpha is equal to 95%, that is 0.05. The table value is 2.13. We can see it from the table. Now our calculated value is 1.96, which is less than table value. That means the difference between the two means is not significant, and the answer is no, because calculated statistic is less than table value. So answer is no. There is no statistically significant difference between 1.48 and 1.35, and we accept the null hypothesis. This is the standard language in we have to reply in case of no. We accept the null hypothesis. Okay, thank you for today. We'll continue in the next class.